Aye, and then I says to the guy, nobody wants to see your nipples, mate. This is a library. I got shut back on, mother. Aye, so anyway. Oh wait, we're podcasting. Hello there, everybody. It's another WrestleMash. We're doing it a bit different this week, so we are. This is number 34 of the WrestleMash episodes, and we today are going to talk not about libraries, but about heels and faces, ladies and gentlemen. We side note, if you want to give the episode a wee tell 'em, boy.
5 stars, baby. Boom.
Brilliant. That would be really nice. But anyway, Hulk Harvey, Mick Allen, heels and faces. It is pretty much the cornerstone of wrestling. So we're just gonna forego news this week, really, and we're just gonna talk about what we like and what we don't like, and what we feel is the best and what we feel is the worst example of a heel and a face. So I think first up, we should just talk about the coolest part of wrestling, which is the heels. The guys that get booed. The guys that you kinda want to be, but you don't want to be. I don't know, man. Mick Allen, what is a good heel for you? What do you want from your heel?
Ooh,
There's a question straight out the bat for you.
that's a
What
doozy.
defines a good heel for you, my man? And give us an example.
For me, I want somebody that's like so cool. I want to be just like them,
Right, okay.
but then at the same time, just so arrogant and egotistical that I want to see them lose. You know what I mean? I want to enjoy no liking them. I want to enjoy hoping that they lose, but at the same time, I want to be a wee bit envious that I'm not as cool as that, and I don't. You know what I mean? I've not got the body that they've got, or the
Right, okay.
the look, or the
okay.
whatever it might be.
You're wanting a wee bit wined and dined by them as far as storyline goes, aye. That what you're kind of saying?
Aye, they need to have a heel. It's a weird dynamic in wrestling. Oftentimes, a heel needs to be every bit as good in the mic as they are in ring, if no better. You know what I mean? They need to really sort of lead a story.
Aye, I would absolutely.
Whereas the baby face, you know what I mean? There's obviously what's the word? There's things that go against the rules. What's the phrase I'm looking for here?
Don't know, man.
Goes against
Exceptions.
Exception. That pesky word, exception.
Aye, there's exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, the babyface, you just need them to be a fantastic performer. You know what I mean? You just need them to be somebody that you can root for, that you can love. But the heel is like a really complex thing.
It is, aye. That they have multiple things that they need to satisfy. A good guy is only as good as his bad guy always. Like, a good hero is only as good as his villain. Like, I think of that, and like, you're watching good films, like, fucking perfect example, Star Wars. What's Star Wars without bloody Darth Vader being fucking huge and dressed in black like a big goth and bloody stronger than everybody else? Like, it's nothing. It's absolutely... Bad guys are so important to storytelling, especially in wrestling.
I would see your Star Wars reference and raise you a James Bond.
Oh, right. James Bond.
James Bond, massive chain of films, known for like this cool, suave spy. My brain really wanted me to say superhero there, and I had to fight the urge. He's no superhero.
He's a very big baby face, isn't he, man? Big, handsome bastard.
Aye.
Likes a drink,
Exactly.
likes the women. He's everything you want in a baby face.
A James Bond film would be utter dross if it didn't have a really good heel, a really good villain.
It's harder for the films as well, obviously, because it's a different baddie per film usually. Like, but we're by the by now. You're into entertainment. Tell me, man. What is your favourite heel? What is the best heel you've ever come across as a wrestling fan, or even in anything, man?
Me?
Aye, anything, man. Any. Tell us all about it, man. Then we'll go to Harvey.
Oh, the two that come to mind straight away are both WCW references.
Okay.
For kind of different reasons. The first one, Raven.
Oh, Raven, there's a left field shout.
Aye, he wasn't really your typical heel, and at that time WCW they didn't have, like, they weren't quite set up with your generic babyface and heel type relationships. Everything was a wee bit more muddled because they were trying to do things different deliberately to compete with WWE. They were trying to WWF. They were trying to no be the same as them. And Raven was this kind of really strange character.
He was something completely out there, man.
Aye. The reason he comes to mind is because for a time before I was like really into the Hardys and Rob Van Dam, Rhino, like a lot of kind of ECW guys and WWF guys that kind of became like the heroes, like who I thought were really cool and wanted to be like. Raven was the guy.
A bit of Raven connected with you?
For some reason, I just thought he was so cool. But at the same time, he was a heel. He was an asshole.
Aye.
You know what I mean? He was the bad guy.
Fair play.
Aye. I don't know. There was just something about him. It was like that kind of sort of brooding type. Like he would just kind of stroll out on nonchalant, sit down in the corner of the ring.
I love that.
You know
I love that. That's a kind of Darby Allin thing now, isn't it? They sit in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously a big Raven fan back in the day. You can tell. Harvey Smith. Hulk Harvey, brother. You didn't get your big intro today, so he's a big example. You were building up and then you shot it there.
Brother.
And there you go, that's it. Oh, that build up then just to laugh. Right, so hit me up a heel, Hulk Harvey, brother.
A heel? Mick, I thought you had another one.
I did, but I'm happy to wait. If you want.
Let's go one up. I am quite happy to leave this.
I've got two.
He's got two as well.
Well, I was going to say one, but then Paul, you said in wrestling or anything else.
Tell me anything else. I'm not
right, okay.
Hit me up with a heel.
So straight away when you say there anything else, I was like, Scott Brown. Biggest heel in Scottish football.
Scott Brown. Aye, if you ask the blue half of Glasgow, that is a heel.
Every other team he played against, he was a heel. Like,
that's an awesome shout.
I mean,
strutting about, winding up everybody.
Aye.
He played it brilliantly too. Like,
he was a character.
Was in front of the fans, like, hey,
swaggering about.
As a wrestler, though, I would probably say go way back and Roddy Piper.
Oh, no, there's a talker of a heel there. Aye, there's the reason MJF exists today as MJF, basically, which is to shamelessly rip off Roddy Piper as much as he possibly can. His whole persona is basically Baby Roddy.
Aye, he was the man. He was the business for me.
Aye. A very, very big part of wrestling in the 80s and the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Was old Hot Rod.
Well, what about yourself, Paul? You got
a pick? I mean, for me in the wider world, I think Colby Covington deserves a shout for heel.
Oh,
for an absolutely brilliant heel. That is a man who gets that being a heel makes him a lot of money, and it has done largely in UFC, isn't it? Really, like all his sort of MAGA stuff, and he's. I mean, what did he say about Brazilian people?
I don't know, but he's now full time heel. He can't go back.
Nah,
that's him. He's stuck in it. He's like like have you ever heard of like the old undercover officers and that would go into these gangs and stuff like. You just get too deep into it.
he's too deep into it.
They get back out.
And you know what makes him even more heelish is that when Masvidal goes and sees him in the street to sort it out, the police are out and he's going, "Oh, this is terrible." I mean that is pro wrestling right there, isn't it, man? That is total pro wrestling.
Up, man.
Oh, good. I mean, wrestling shout for me, Tommaso Ciampa is a heel turning as a heel in NXT. Didn't have any music, just come out to booze. Just booze. He didn't have any music, just walked to the ring and was booed. Booed. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Matt, has up again.
So, the other one that I was going to say is another WCW pick, but it also kind of leads into factions.
Oh, right, okay.
Because the faction's part of the reason why I would pick them as one of my top heels. Right. And it's none other than Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Oh, aye. I mean,
You
can't get by heels without talking about
to be
Hulk
fair,
Hogan.
his Hulk Hogan's sort of glory days as a face predate my existence, never mind my wrestling interest. So I never really had that side of it. To me, Hulk Hogan was almost always, or well, no, almost, for the longest time, to me, Hulk Hogan was this guy that used to be in films but knew he was this mad heel in WCW.
Aye.
That was what I grew up with in terms of Hulk Hogan. And he was phenomenal as a bad guy. Like, just an absolute theatrical caricature of a wrestling bad guy. And he was a great leader, working with, obviously, NWO.
He was the man, wasn't he? Like, it was the absolute boom period of wrestling in the 90s was thanks to that turn of the real American babyface into the kind of Hollywood wanker kicking about in all black gear. Oh, the all black always seems to come up, doesn't it?
Aye.
The old colour black. That's a...
It goes, I believe it goes back to the cowboy films.
Aye,
The country and western
that's
style.
true, aye.
The bad guy in cowboy, because he's obviously like black and white telly, and then the Technicolor.
Aye, so that was
the
your
bad
way
guy
you
would
know
always
who
be
was
in
the
black.
black.
So
Right.
aye.
That totally makes sense now, actually, when you think about it. God. Right, well, I'll tell you what, we've talked about the best. What about the worst? What about the worst heels for you? Worst heel turns, heels that you thought, oh, just fuck off out of my sight. Those kind of heels, the ones that aren't actually very good at being heels. I mean, I'll give you a quick example for a worst heel turn I've ever seen, and that is Scorpio Sky returning heel. Dear God, I couldn't think any worse in recent memory on AEW. But worst
I don't know.
heels.
What was the one that was a heel because he came out on the stage and was like, Canada. Yeah.
Canadian
that?
wrestler?
Oh, that was the one.
God, Lance Storm?
No, I think he was actually American, and then he came out and he was like,
Oh, Hacksaw Jim Duggan did that as well, where he was
Jim Duggan, that's
and
who
that
it
was
is.
pretty. That was in the worst dying embers of WCW. That mate was Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He used to come out with an American flag, being part of Team Canada. Aye, that is pretty drizzling shitsy. It really is.
I don't know, man. Like, there's the old story of the thing with what'd you cry him, big guy, Rikishi and the Rock. There was a whole thing. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was something to do with like, it was some mad backstage thing, like somebody get knocked down.
Stone Cold got knocked down by Rikishi in the car to write Stone Cold off for an
so
injury.
it was like right, and then it was like who is it for weeks?
Aye.
Who was driving the car, and then Rikishi, of all the folk that they could have pinned it on,
did it for
Rikishi
The Rock.
came out and said that he
He did it for the Rock. Aye, he did it for the Rock. That's right.
That was awful.
Nobody needed or wanted that.
No.
So that's one. I
Big
suppose.
happy dancing Rikishi.
The one that comes to mind isn't because he was a bad healer, and it was just because I didn't like it. And it's Stone Cold siding with McMahon.
Oh, that was pretty poor. Aye, I didn't like that either. Agreed.
Like, I think Stone Cold, given the right material to work with, would have been perfectly fine as a heel, but I just didn't like that whole angle at all.
He did some very funny things as a heel, but I think even he admits that it was the wrong idea to turn him heel. He was at that stage where he was perhaps too big to be a heel. He was loved too much. Like, it didn't work. Because I'm sure if I remember correctly, he turned in Texas at WrestleMania. So, of course, the crowd cheered. Because the Texan won in Texas. Who cares how he won? He won. Like, it didn't make a difference. So, it was about his... it wasn't very well thought out. I mean, by the way, as far as wrestling goes in the past 10, 15 years, worst heel, Stephanie McMahon. Her on TV, anytime, absolute. If ever there was a reason for AEW existing, it's her. just totally and utterly belittling these grown men, slapping them, and then nothing ever happens. Pure shite telly.
I'll
And
give
the
you that.
authority in general, get the authority to fuck. They've been doing that heel general manager, heel family running the company thing for so long that I know that's when I turned off WWE. Was just like, fucking hell, this was the 90s, man. Move on.
Side note,
Aye.
did you see that she has stepped away from her duties at
Away
WWE?
from duties now. Aye, that's right. So
She's on a
and a
sabbatical.
long leave of absence, apparently, long term leave of absence. I suppose they've got these. What is it? 3 daughters, I think they've got. God, her and Triple H. So I suppose you want to have a bad time with them. Like, as I know as a parent, kids are only young for so long, and then it just disappears. So that is fair play by me.
But did they not try and turn Goldberg heel or not? Sorry, I know.
No, you're fine, mate. You're all right.
Talking about. Sorry,
It's a tangent,
my
but it's back
mind.
in topic. So
You've
we'll-
actually
mind
tangented
is
his
just
back
thinking-
on. That's good for you.
Did WCW not try and
Aye,
turn
I
Goldberg
think
heel?
towards
too?
the end.
Aye.
Towards the end, they were trying
I was
everything.
It was the old Vince
Why
Russo chuck shit against the wall kind of style booking.
'Cause-
See whatever sticks.
Like
Yeah.
Goldberg was like their star. Like
Or he was
So the thing with
he was
Goldberg,
the dominant face.
he's another guy that I loved, man. The thing with Goldberg is that they built up his undefeated streak for so long, and then they completely mishandled the transition. I mean, at some point he had to lose, but they completely made an arse of the transition, and then it got to the point where they didn't quite ken what to do with him. And then after a while, WCW started to fucking die. They were drowning.
Aye.
I think there was financial issues. There was guys jumping ship, going to WWF.
It wasn't a happy
was-
house.
TV deals were kind of falling through. It was an absolute mess, and it didn't help for a second that Russo was involved. He is notorious in his booking, so I don't quite remember what the angle was, but I do remember that it was an absolute disaster. That's kind of stuck in the back of my mind.
It really was. It's a total disaster. I mean, hey, by the way, as far as worst heels in the world, I mean, he's been watching the court case lately. The old Johnny Depp Amber Heard court case.
See,
I've been
I mean, there's like
have you seen the wee compilation videos that are going about where it's I'm trying to remember, but it's like something like, and then my dog or my cat stood in something, and then she makes this face, goes, and then it's like everybody just coming up with things that rhyme with it. And it's just the most outlandish things.
my dog stood in a bee thing. Oh God.
That's what it was. Aye.
I mean, does she qualify as a bad heel or a good heel? Because we're all watching. I mean,
I think she's an accidental terrible heel.
my God.
I don't know.
It was the whole see the argument about the difference between donate and pledge. That is
oh my
unbelievable.
God.
I've never seen anything
that
like
was
that.
so I was just like, oh my God. she's trying to like still make herself look good by saying, oh yes. And then it's like, no, have you paid them the money? I've pledged it to them.
the way
Yes.
she's
No.
talking
So
back.
they haven't received it then.
Yes, but I pledged it.
Pledged it to them. I've pledged it to them. She's like, no. So the money hasn't went from your bank account to their bank account. Right?
Yes, I pledged it.
She's like, what the fuck? On a more serious note though,
Yes.
like if right, obviously it's in the news because it's
Oh, it
famous
really
folk or
is.
whatever.
Aye. Very
But
famous.
like folk have no idea like how much this actually happens, where somebody is more often a male is accused of abuse when he actually hasn't done anything, but they don't have the means to defend themselves in the way that he has.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? It's actually pretty sad.
It
but-
kind of feels important in history, doesn't it? Like this. That's one thing to say. I mean, aside from wrestling here, obviously we're a wrestling podcast, but this feels kind of important. Like, I feel like in 20 years, we're going to look at this as a kind of a reference point for how things are done in the world. But I mean, as a heel Amber Heard, I mean, round of applause for heelishness. Incredible. None of them are looking good at it though, man. Jesus.
Even the recordings. Yeah, Johnny, who do you think the court's going to believe?
God, I mean, that
You'll
is...
be like,
You're just expecting a wee record scratch in the head. Well, this is how I got here. Like, with the music back there. It's unbelievable.
I can't wait for like a few years down the line when Johnny Depp's allowed to talk about it fully, and he just ends up doing like a drunk interview.
Just get him in Rogan.
And just dishes all the dirt on it.
Just get him in Rogan. Oh, so I found some fecal matter on the bed, and it's a bit fucked up, man. Just talking in that sexy rumbling mumble that he's going on.
I had avoided, like, I'd seen wee clips, I'd read the old headline and seen wee clips, but I'd avoided it for the most part. I was just thinking to myself, this is nonsense. I'm not involving myself with this, right?
It's hard.
The other night, the missus had fell asleep, and I'd finished watching whatever it was I was watching. And I thought, I'll flick through the headlines and that before I give her a sugar, wake her up, and we head up to bed. And it happened upon a news article that was talking about the court case, and how Amber Heard was due to take the stand, and it had the live feed, and I made the mistake of clicking on it, and I sat and watched that thing live for nearly an hour and a half, just shaking my head in disbelief at how stupid that woman is.
It's addictive. It is.
It is, man. It actually is.
It got to like, it was about 1:20 in the morning or something, and I kind of like, I put it off. And I'm looking at the clock and then just sitting, like, just, what am I doing with my life? Why am I watching this?
Mate, that has been me at least
right
4 days last week watching this bloody court case. I think it's because it's so pro wrestling, though. It's so pro wrestling. Just mad, crazy stakes, factions of folk fighting.
But the funny thing is, right, for most of the court case, Johnny Depp's been sitting there just
chilling,
having a laugh with his team.
He's having a great time.
With his lawyers and that, just like chatting away like
they cannot believe they're
they can't. I mean,
that's what it is, man.
Aye.
It's a clip of that lawyer going, I'm trying. Like, she's shaking her head and going, I'm trying. That's Amber Heard's lawyer.
but
she's getting Wednesday hump day feels. Oh, fuck this. When's it Friday? Like, she's so done.
Did you see Amber Heard's lawyer asking Johnny Depp a question? Then he goes to answer it, and he's like, what is that thing they say when they want to strike something?
Objection.
Aye, objection. And the judge goes, you asked the question. He's like, oh, yes.
It's been theatre on a level that WWE and AEW wish they could provide.
I was like,
my favourite bit for when I was watching was, so Johnny Depp's lawyer was wanting to ask Amber Heard about a thing that she'd put out. It was to do with the divorce and this whole charity thing, giving money to charity.
Mm-hmm.
And she had, through a spokesperson, Amber Heard had put a statement out after Johnny Depp had started giving some of the money directly to the charity rather than giving it to her first, right?
Aye.
And so Johnny Depp's lawyer was wanting to quote part of that and ask Amber Heard about it. And so she had redacted all the bits that weren't there about what she was wanting to talk about, and like all the kind of personal information and all the rest of it. So she goes to ask about it, and she wants to admit this as evidence. So then Amber Heard's lawyer's saying, objection, that's hearsay. Like, because it's no Amber speaking, it's somebody speaking on Amber's behalf. And the woman's going, right, but it says here it's an official spokesperson. And then Amber Heard's lawyer's going, but it's hearsay.
I don't just...
So the judge is like, right, I'm going to allow it. Overruled. So they put it in, and it's... you would think this was getting made up. 30 seconds later, or whatever it is, man. Johnny Depp's lawyer starts reading for it and goes to ask Amber Heard a question, and then Amber Heard's lawyer again's going, hearsay, objection, hearsay.
Something.
We just covered this.
Honestly, see if you picture this as an MMA contest with one fighter versus the other. It's like that, but the UFC have took the arms and a leg off of one of the fighters and said, right, get him! Like, it's such a shame for the lawyers. God knows what they're working with. Oh, jeez. Anyway,
man.
Christ, wrestling. Better talk about wrestling. As much as that heel work has been tremendous from the courtroom.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Stunner. Wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah, wrestling partner. We're doing wrestling. Oh, God, right. Baby faces, lads. Let's hit up the baby faces of the world. What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Harvey's drawn a blank here.
What do we think? What, like best?
Best baby faces. We've kind of covered the best of the heels. Let's cover the best of baby faces. What kind of...
There's a lot. There's like Bret Hart.
Brilliant.
There's like The Rock.
That
Rey Mysterio.
The Rock was one I
Rey
had
Mysterio,
down.
he would kiss by his face, right?
Oh,
The Rock. I mean, that's one of my
The Rock.
oldest
I mean,
memories
aye.
of wrestling is The Rock just embarrassing people on the microphone every weekend watching the wrestling. Back when you could only see the Sky.
The Rock's one that stands out for no really being, even though he came through the WWE machine, he's no a traditional babyface.
No, he's not really.
When he was his peak in wrestling, he was a massive babyface. But he was going on like a heel. He was taking the piss.
It was
out
the
of everybody.
same character he played, but people just loved it. He never actually changed who he was as a wrestler.
It was a strange time in wrestling, that.
Hey, fun fact, by the way.
What about...
Sorry, mate, I just jumped on you there,
No.
mate. Do you
Fun
know
fact.
that AJ Styles has been in the WWE longer than The Rock has?
Aye, because I need to realise how early The Rock left.
Aye, he was in it that short. Sorry, Harvey, on you go, fella.
No. I'm trying to do this. Daniel Bryan.
Aye,
He was a
Daniel
heel
Bryan.
too, wasn't he? Aye.
Aye, was he?
I got that right.
He was,
Daniel
he was
Bryan.
both a fantastic heel and face
Aye.
during his time in WWE.
Obviously, that's
WWE.
continued now in AEW. He's kind of heel work and face work. Like he can do either, basically.
Yep.
He's a versatile wrestler, as it were. But aye, The Rock, man. Cody.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold, obviously,
Aye.
Who was cooler? Who was cooler than Stone Cold?
I love Stone Cold too.
He's the absolute epitome of a tweener, because
Aye.
even when he was a face, he was never a face, and even when he was a heel, he was never a heel. You know what I mean? He just was Stone Cold. Once that character came out, like, see if you go back, I don't know if you've ever seen this or no, but Stone Cold debuted with a fucking lovely head of hair, man. He had golden
I
locks.
don't know, man.
I've seen it.
I'm trying to remember what it was. It
The
was like
Ringmaster, it was.
Aye, it was the Ringmaster. Steve
Ringmaster,
Austin.
aye, when he was with the
The
Million Dollar
first
Man.
time I seen that, I was
Aye.
just like, I was so weirded out by it. I was like, what the hell? Because, you know, I was used to seeing Stone Cold like bald-headed, but then
Bald-headed badass, aye?
seeing that, like after I've seen him as that, I was like, whoa, that's just weird.
That's mad to think he used to be a big blonde-haired guy.
Like, The Rock debuting as Rocky Maivia makes a certain amount of sense.
Aye.
It's like, that was him as a kid, and then he matured into The Rock. But Stone Cold, it's like two different people. It's weird.
That's wild, like, innit? How
But once they uncovered that character of Stone Cold, like, it didn't matter what the storyline was or whether he was supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy. It was just him.
I think his finisher helped a lot with his coolness. The stunner. The stunner's one of the coolest things in the world, man. No class, no fanciness, no wrestling about it. It's just fuck you and grab you by the head and smash you. Like, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
In the guts.
It's an
And
absolute pro wrestling move as well. Like, there's no other world of sport where you can apply that move.
No, it just makes no sense but in wrestling. There's some
I should try
awesome
that
about
in
it.
the octagon. Kick to the stomach and
Love to hear Daniel Cormier give his opinion on a stunner. Oh, he's tried to get him in a stunner there. Don't think that's going to work. That's outstanding, man. Absolutely outstanding.
Joe Rogan would just be buckled.
He'd be
Laughing his head off.
dead. He'd be dead, man. Oh, God, by Stone
sit
Cold.
there with his wee weed vape pen.
He's vaping.
That's Seth Rogen.
To be fair, that can apply to both Rogans.
That was a perfect
Aye, but-
Seth Rogen laugh there.
That was a bit of Seth
Oh, but
Rogen.
I don't know about the laugh, but I just thought
Do that Seth Rogen laugh again. That was incredible.
I don't know.
It was like as if Seth Rogen bloody he just took over your body.
I don't know. It just
That was insane.
did it.
He just became him for a minute there.
Man.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to say something controversial.
All right, okay, right. Hands up.
I think John Cena's one of the best baby faces in the history of wrestling.
Aye. Well, I mean,
Right, explain why. Explain.
Because he lives and breathes it for so
Aye.
long. Maybe not so much now, but for years. He did everything the company asked him. He set and broke the record for the most wishes given with the Make-A-Wish thing.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
aye.
Like, just in the ring, out the ring, he was a baby face.
That is true.
He was the absolute epitome and face of the PG era,
Aye.
the WWE.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye, he was a pure babyface. back
He
then,
was the
like,
guy
pure.
that, like, all the Waynes, whether they wanted to be him or they just wanted him to be like their dad or their uncle or whatever, like, he was the man for years.
I think
He
he gets a rough deal. I hate the argument of John Cena can't wrestle nonsense. That was a thing put over on TV by, I think it was Triple H that said it originally, and then for some reason
Right.
it seemed to catch on ridiculously, but nah, by fuck could he wrestle. I hated that.
He's no somebody like a Daniel Bryan or Brian Danielson.
Aye.
Or, you know what I mean? He's no a worker's worker. He's no like a really good mat
But he's
wrestler.
slick.
But he doesn't need to be.
He's slick. His timing's perfect.
He's built like a brick shit house.
That
He's
too.
where he needs to be at all times. You know what I mean? He meets his marks to perfection. He knows how to adapt on the fly. You know what I mean? He does everything he needs to do as a pro wrestler. You know what I mean?
It's a shame that he's hurt by booking decisions like he's never ever. Like there was a stage where he could have perhaps been a heel, but they chose not to, and I can see why they didn't, because kids loved him. He was a big superhero to the kids, and that's really what it's all about with WWE, I think, at the bottom line. So you can understand why that was their call.
John Cena turning heel would have been the equivalent of Hulk Hogan turning heel when he was at his absolute peak in the WWF back in the day. Like the trauma that would have caused to the Waynes.
It wouldn't have
that
made
loved them,
sense. Aye.
Wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have made sense. It would have been
They
cruel.
wouldn't have recovered for it.
All these wee souls that he visits with the bloody Make-A-Wish and all that, like all that that goes like. I mean, he's had some career onwards after bloody wrestling as well. Like he's proved that he is one cool son of a. I mean, the Peacemaker bloody series seems to have done great. I love the Suicide Squad. He was brilliant in that.
I've still not seen it.
Oh mate, I totally recommend it. Like, did you like Guardians of the Galaxy? You'll love it. You'll love it.
Right.
Very similar, except it's R-rated, so kind of somewhere between Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool. Probably the best way to describe it. Very worth it. Very worth it. Best babyface. I mean, it's weird. I went for, and by the way, you'll not believe this, Cody Rhodes. The beginning of AEW, I know, the beginning of AEW, the first few months out of the gate, before they made that really weird booking decision to stop him from being world champion, that Cody Rhodes, I love that guy. That was a hero, that guy. That was a guy just going for it, and he was hitting the mark with his promos. Everything was awesome.
Was that him just being in the right place at the right time, though?
It's I suppose that's whatever it is, though, isn't it? With good baby faces, it's just being in the right place at the right time and capitalising on your momentum. And at that time, he proper did. Like his match, some of his matches were genius. His promos were good.
I hear what you're saying, right? But what I would say is that the best baby faces can get over with a crowd in any promotion at any time. They're just, for whatever reason, they have that. Like, you take The Rock, right? Once The Rock really figured it out, you could take him anywhere in the world and he would have a crowd eating out the palm of his hand.
I agree in that, certainly. Aye.
You know what I mean? I don't think Cody Rhodes could, as a heel, I think he's one of the best heels ever. Accidentally or on purpose. You know what I mean? You can argue that, but that he is a natural born heel. But I just don't feel him in the same way as a face.
I think time will tell with Cody. I mean, currently, right now, he's loved again in WWE. So, I mean, can he go to multiple places and get over? I mean, he did at the beginning of AEW. So I suppose you would have to give him some of a tick for that. Obviously, bad booking probably from his kind of influence kind of swung that the wrong way. But with WWE, it seems to really be working with him now. But I know, I mean, that was just a personal favourite of mine at the start of AEW. Again, AEW was a different place. It was still a bit sort of new. Things were still building, and he was the first kind of big face straight out of the gate, and it worked really well. But they booked that bit wrong, unfortunately for him. Hangman Page.
In terms of babyface storyline,
Now, that was a story and a half. Aye.
I don't know if there's ever been a better one told.
Aye.
You know what I mean? You go the full journey.
The long winding road to get to being world champion. I mean, I don't know what you say about afterwards.
It's so unfortunate because
I don't know.
his story that they told with that, like, he should have been like the realest babyface ever, because you go so much more than a babyface is usually just a surface thing. It's just somebody with charisma that for some reason you like them, but you don't really care why. You just like them and you want them to win. Although, obviously, a lot of the time that's because you really dislike the heel. You know what I mean? You don't quite realise how much the heel's playing into it, but oftentimes the heel drives the story and you really don't like them, so you really root for the babyface, and over time you just kind of fall in love with the babyface and want them to win. But anyway, with Hangman, you had this sort of thing of him going through his trials and tribulations, you know, the problems with the drink and pushing people away, no letting folk in, no letting folk help him, and everything that went into that, it just made him human in a way that you rarely get in pro wrestling.
And that's what I think's the best bit about it, is that you could relate to one of these superhumans for once. Usually they're big and large on life, but this guy actually was life. Like, he was real life. There was something really real about it. Made it brilliant, like. Made it absolutely awesome.
They're booking it to shit.
I don't know. I get what you're saying. We're in opposite ends of the fence here, I think, with the Hangman and Punk thing. I don't think it's great, but I don't mind it. I like the way it turned there in Wednesday with the Hangman Takeshita match. We aside, by the way, that Takeshita boy is the future.
Why?
Holy sweet Jesus. I don't know anything about that boy. And he's awesome.
Makes no sense to me that he's in there with the world champion at this point. However, if they can teach him English, that is a star.
Fucking hell. He doesn't even need to say anything. I'm like, this guy is amazing.
He's really, really good. But I thought of this analogy, right? See, for the Punk and Hangman thing. I thought of this analogy when I was watching the wrestling this week. It's like you get in a taxi, right? And you tell them where you want to go.
Is that a fake taxi?
No. Real taxi, right? You get in the taxi and you tell them where you want to go. But let's say you've had a few and you've only got like a tenner left in your pocket or whatever, right? Now,
definitely got a strippers in.
If the taxi goes the way you're expecting it to go, the way you would drive, you know that you're going to get to where you want to go. It's not going to take that long, and you're going to have enough money, right? However, this taxi driver, for whatever reason, starts going a route that you've never drove before, and he's going all over the place, and you're starting to get really anxious because you don't know if you're going to be able to afford it. You don't know if you're going to get to where you're trying to go in time, right? And you're getting all worried, and you're just not enjoying this drive, right? Nothing feels right about it, but you know, or well, you don't know, but you hope that you're going to get to where you want to go, right? That's what this feels like for me. I have no doubts that Hangman and Punk will have a great match. I don't at this point know who's going to come out with the belt, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to enjoy it once we get there. However, the journey there just doesn't sit right with me at all. It just makes me anxious and uncomfortable. And that's not what I want out of pro wrestling. I want to enjoy it.
Okay. That's a fair enough reason for you. taxi analogy is a new one.
Anyway,
But
never mind.
I'm all right with it. I don't know.
But you would be very happy if you did all that and it only cost you £1.
And as mentioned before, I'd probably prefer fake taxi, but that's just me. That is between me and my own private browsing history. Oh, jeez. So, bad faces we can't be bothered looking at, faces that when they come on the telly, you go, oh, just piss off. I mean, there's an easy one here, unfortunately. And I hate saying this because I actually think the guy's all right. Who am I talking about?
Scorpius guy.
Nah, no, Roman Reigns, actually. Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
I would have accepted Scorpio Sky with that fix that they did before they unfixed it. But Roman Reigns, lads.
Roman Reigns, when they tried to force him.
Just
didn't work.
rammed
Did
down
not work.
your throat sideways at all times if you were watching WWE for the past 10 years. Wasn't it? Really. And again, like John Cena, that is one of the smoothest fuckers in there. Doesn't do anything spectacular, doesn't do anything crazy, but he's just really good at what he does. And it now works with him as a heel. Although they're still doing the old Roman wins law where he just wins all the fucking time for no reason. But at least it suits him better now as a heel. Because he's naturally a heel. Whereas before it was just... I felt that you could even see it in him, like when he was getting booed, he would be like, here we go again. How'd you...
I've got... Oh, sorry.
No, you're all right. I know, I'm fine. I was just going to rant about it. But on you go, fella. You've...
I'm with you on that. I was going to say, I've got two slightly controversial
Oh,
shouts.
right, okay.
I'm all about the controversy.
You're all about it today, Mac.
Randy Orton.
As a poor face, I agree. Yep. That's not that controversial. I'm weighing that.
I think he's... Well, I say controversial because he's pretty renownedly loved as a face in his tag team currently with Riddle. However, I think as a singles competitor, he was a terrible face. He's just a natural heel, and I don't understand why they tried to push him as a face. Anyway, my other one is Thunder Rosa.
Oh, right,
I
okay.
thought she was a great face on the come-up as a challenger.
Yeah.
But as a champion, I think she's a terrible face champion. Now, that could be solved with booking.
I think booking helps that. Aye.
You know what I mean? Booking could change my opinion on that, but right now, I cannot stand her. I don't want her on my telly.
We aside
interesting,
no,
really,
I
at
actually
all.
quite liked Serena Deeb's promo. I didn't mind that on Wednesday where she was talking about the things she did to get women's wrestling ahead. Because that
for
is
me-
truth, like what she's coming out with. Real truth.
Oh, aye. That
helped
for
a wee
me
bit.
was that's been the best thing so far since Britt Baker dropped the title.
Aye,
That's
probably,
the best
aye.
thing that's happened in that title picture. But still, somehow, that heel bit felt clunky. Even more so when Thunder Rosa came out. Up to that point, it was palatable. But once Thunder Rosa came out, it just felt weird, clunky, and nothing. The timing was off. And like Thunder Rosa coming through the ropes, and she literally jumped up into Dustin Rhodes' arms.
Aye.
There was no attempt to get past him or anything. It was just like, catch me and hold me back. I'm going to get all dramatic.
It was a bit of the old hold me back,
And then
wasn't it? Scrappy
There was
doo.
the thing where, like, presumably they had discussed that she was supposed to truck the title to the side and then Serena Deeb was going to pick the title up, but she didn't put the title in the right place. So Serena Deeb had to awkwardly go round about her to get rid of the title to then go back into position to sneak in it. But the promo,
The promo,
A+.
the promo, definitely. Aye, I mean that's the sad thing is, for some reason it doesn't seem to be sitting well on that lassie's shoulder currently. I would like to see Serena Deeb as a women's champion. I don't think it would be a bad thing. I would like to see
aye, love it.
the biggest kind of shooter in the division be the champ.
Yep.
Speaking of women's wrestling, what about the carry on with bloody Naomi and Sasha Banks? Have you guys seen any of that?
Man, that's a thing, aye.
You seen any of it, Harvey?
With the WWE?
Aye.
I am sorry, I'm obviously the WWE.
Aye. No, I know, but you said
Where they refused to wrestle?
so
walked out.
Monday Night Raw apparently they turned up, were told the plans, and I think they didn't agree with the plans, so it went to Vince McMahon and said, "Look, would this not be better? We're the tag champions. why is one of us pinning the other? That's just stupid. We're a team. Why would a team be fighting against one another? So McMahon's went, aye, right, fair enough. Then apparently the writers have freaked out because it's wasting their fun story. So then it's been rechanged back. So Sasha Banks and Naomi went to the gaffer again, and the gaffer said, "Oh, fix your fucking attitude. This'll no day." So the resolve was to just walk into the talent relations guy, put the titles down and say, "Cheers, bye." And away they went, bye driver.
Aye.
But the mad thing was they were called out for it on air, on TV. Like during, because that's what happened during Raw. So during Raw, the commentary team, like they put out this statement as well. The statement was the most pro wrestling style writing I've ever seen of the state. Like, I don't believe a word of that statement.
No,
That's bollocks. I'm sorry.
At all.
But now the result is they have been suspended indefinitely from WWE. They've had all their merch pulled off of the site so that nobody can buy their merch. Because I think that's what happened immediately was this happened and folk went, oh, against the establishment, let's buy the stuff. So everybody went to buy their stuff, which makes them money. So WWE went, oh, hey, fuck you, no, and pulled all the merch off the site. Thus, now they're sitting at home suspended indefinitely.
Yep.
But
tied to a contract.
tied to a contract, aye. Which will now be frozen as well because that's just what they do when you disagree. Like Pac, AEW's Pac was a victim of that. He sat for a year waiting on them doing something with him because he said, "Listen, I'm not working."
Man, I hope that I hope they don't have a long contract.
Aye, or
sake.
they are stuck.
Because the only way that they're going to get out of that is they're going to have to go. I mean, if they're running low, they're going to have to pretty much beg to get this fucking job back. And they're going to have to do whatever the hell they want them to do.
Well, I suppose in the spirit of heels here, lads, I was going to ask, who's the bigger shite heel? Is it the lassies who apparently, according to WWE sources, were behaving like prima donnas, or is it WWE for fucking and fumbling as usual when it comes to the booking?
They're fucking and fumbling. But then Vince trying to blame...
was the biggest heel ever.
Aye. And then they're trying to blame other things. They're trying to say that Sasha and that they didn't want to fight against like bloody some of the lassies.
That was a poor
like,
political attempt here.
Like, what?
That was really poor.
Like, come on, man.
Again.
Everybody who has 2 brain cells, you only need 2 brain cells to figure it out. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so...
Fine.
This is why I don't bother with WWE.
Just trying to ostracise a bloody pair of wrestlers, basically, and make it all...
It's shocking behaviour, man, honestly.
There's
really
a bit of me that thinks that, but then there's a bit of me that doesn't feel too sorry for them because everybody knows that's how WWE behave. You know that, signing a longer-term deal with them. And I would imagine these girls accepted higher financial, like, deals when AEW were born. Like, all these workers that got these monster contracts the minute AEW appeared. You know what you're getting yourself into for me, lads.
There's an irony in the timing that Serena Deeb cut the promo that she did this week.
It's a bit in it.
Her Raw promo talking about how she went as far as getting breast implants and agreeing to shave her head on telly as part of a stupid storyline, just so that she would have a chance at fitting in, having them
just
like
so
her,
that she was in inverted commas paying her dues.
Aye,
basically.
She, like, the fact that they do that to folk, and then in the same week they're putting out a statement trying to slander the talent because the talent's no bending over and doing what they're told.
Basically, man.
Shocking, man.
Aye, it's funny how that is true. Like, I never really thought about that until you said it. How bloody... Aye. My God. What do you think the resolve is? Do you think you see the two of them in AEW? What one would you like to see in AEW? Because I imagine, if any of the two, Sasha Banks is the one to jump at.
I would rather see Sasha Banks. I think she's far better.
Aye.
Naomi, she's a great athlete, don't get me wrong. She's very athletic.
Aye.
But I just don't enjoy watching her the same. I don't think she's as good a pro wrestler. Sasha Banks, I think she could, in a heartbeat, she could fit in.
She's a big celebrity,
She'll fit
isn't
in,
she?
like,
She's in Star
but-
Wars and all that. That Mandalorian. Good.
Sure.
Aye.
She was in the Mandalorian.
If you bring the two of them in, though, it could be the catalyst for like a proper tag division in the women's division.
I know what you mean. Like women's tag teams.
Heavily rumoured
Aye.
that's coming very soon.
Aye, well, I think that was a rumour.
So,
Like 2 new tag championships, the 3-man and the women's tag. So
Yeah.
possibly, lads, possibly.
It's like that'd be pretty cool.
It would be.
Oh, what would your tag teams be for the women's
Like the
division?
champs.
No, like
Or who would you have as
name a
tag
couple of
teams?
teams. Aye, as teams. Aye, as
Oh,
tag
you'd
partners.
have the baddies. They would, no doubt there would
Oh,
be.
aye, you would have
team out of
Red
them.
Velvet and Kira Hogan would be a team.
Aye, but who?
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Kira Hogan, it would need to be, wouldn't it?
Because you've got Jade, she's the leader and she's the singles champ. Then you can do the same way Britt Baker and her crew. 'Cause obviously
Aye,
Baker's
aye.
the singles, and then you can have Jamie Hayter and the other one, I can never remember her bloody name.
Reba or Rebel.
Aye.
Rebel. Aye.
So I would do probably Ruby Soho and Tony Storm. I think they're really good together.
Aye, they're kind of they can have the kind of rock and roll kind of vibe going as well, don't they, man?
They're an easy one to make. Thingy was good.
IJ was
as well.
awesome, but now they've turned
Anna Jane and Ruby Soho, they work really well together.
Aye, they've been
I've seen
teaming a lot in
They've
elevation.
had a few dark matches.
Aye,
They've been good together.
it's been a lot in elevation. You're the man for elevation. Did you watch the Mercedes Martinez tag match in elevation? Mick?
Tag match.
Tag match. Fuck, Paul.
Title defence.
Title defence. Aye, Jesus.
I did, aye.
Christ, where am I going there? How was it? Was it decent?
A good match.
Aye.
Aye, it was decent. I mean, it had its moments where it was maybe a wee bit rough or whatever. The lassie, I've only seen her once before. Forget her name now.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Not.
With the
I'll
kind of
probably come back to it.
luminous tights and that she wears, isn't it? What is her
Aye.
name?
Aye.
I know. Sorry, man. Sorry that lasted too.
Aye.
Killed it.
Apologies. Can't remember her name. I've only seen the one match of hers before, and she's somebody that's like, she seems like she's got potential, but she's just no wrestling on telly. You know what I mean? She's used to being in the indies. That's what it seems. She's used to doing house shows and stuff, as opposed to being on telly matches and that. So, it was maybe a wee bit rough at times, but overall it was a good match. It was a well worked match. I enjoyed it. Same way so that was Elevation. On Dark, you had Wheeler Yuta.
Brilliant, right?
He rematched the guy that he beat.
Oh,
for the
Josh
title.
Woods. It was
Woods.
Josh Woods.
They had another really good match. So they did.
That'd have been class. Aye. I see he's away a lot for the super. He's in the Super Juniors tournament in Japan.
Yes, aye. Yep.
Aye, Christ, 1-1 currently.
They also done for the last couple of weeks actually, going between Dark and Dark Elevation. You've had Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee doing tag matches.
They're kind of beefing up their kind of tag
So-
record for the pay per view, of course, because it's a 3-way
obviously
tag.
we've seen them now on Rampage that they're pushing for a title shot, and so which that's a whole other thing we probably don't have time to get into.
No.
But I'm absolutely detesting what they're doing with the men's tag division.
Nah, I know. You know what? Just give it to Keith Lee and Swerve, by the way. I would actually accept that more than Jurassic Express. If it means they're on TV more. And there's a whole team for them to feud with.
Yep. And they're an accidental marvel, by the way. They're a really good tag team.
Aye, they are, but they are awesome together, I've got to say. Their matches are genius.
I've really enjoyed their matches on Dark and Dark Elevation the last few weeks.
Yep, I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. Two very fun wrestlers. Something about Swerve that I do like Swerve. Swerve's a man. Oh, dear.
I think he works well. I've not really seen him in NXT or that, but for what I've seen him, I feel like he works better. It's better a tag.
Aye, and a team.
I've
Aye.
no enjoyed his singles matches as much as I have his tag matches.
Aye, I
and
don't know what that-
Keith Lee, you could push him to the top of the card, no bother. He's got everything. However, at this point, he's kind of newer to AEW. Makes sense to put him in a tag. He works well with Swerve. You've got a lot going on in terms of stories that are kind of half done in the top half of the card. So let them just run with it as a tag team for a while.
Aye, it kind of suits Keith Lee as well, I think. Like, it showcases that he's obviously the hot tag guy for
Yep.
them. So he is, isn't he? He's kind of come in and clean house, as it were.
Yeah. Aye.
Absolutely. Interesting. Anyway, Christ, lads. Quick question for Harvey before we go.
Quickly, before you move on, it's not a question.
Aye.
Well, might
Quick
turn into a question.
statement,
But
fire in, Phil.
I've just been reading, just doing a quick research there. As the reports are saying that Naomi and Sasha Banks' contracts might be running out at the end of this year.
Ah,
The
right.
last time they said they signed a contract extension was 2019, and they usually sign 3-year deals.
Okay.
Right, so we're in 2022. Right, okay.
But another report saying that Sasha had actually signed one prior to WrestleMania.
Oh, shit, so she's tied in long term.
So it might. So you see. So they could be coming to the end of their contracts.
Possibly.
That'd be interesting.
I assume we haven't heard the last eight, lads. Like, there'll be more coming out over the next few weeks. The two girls in question have kept very quiet on it, so...
If I was putting money on it, I'd say you see them back in WWE toeing the line within a few months.
See, to be honest, after the Mustafa
Probably.
Ali carry on, there'll be a surprise appearance for the two of them. And that'll be it. Like...
It was just a joke.
It was a joke.
I'm waiting on them.
You fell for it.
As a
I'm
joke.
waiting them announcing that they've stripped them of the titles. Like on telly.
Oh no, they
Full-
did.
full on.
They mentioned that in SmackDown that they are now stripped and they'll have
Did they?
a tournament to determine the next
Honestly, I couldn't even
women's
wait a week.
tag
man.
champions.
Jesus.
Yep, I know. It's awesome. Good lads. I'll tell you what, lads. For all we've yittered on here for a good 55 minutes as always, it is sadly time to get ourselves out of here and ring the bell on the end of WrestleMash. I don't even think we rung the bell in.
Didn't they?
Christ, what a night! Ring again! And ring again! And ring again! And ring again! Right, we've rung the bell loads now. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm followed this week by the Mix and Mash with Harvey leading it. Yesterday, you could have listened to, heard, whatever you want to say, Combat Spuds. That is also top class part about the MMA and the boxing. Check them all out. Has on the socials. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's just run for it. Run! See you later, lads.
Goodbye.
Show the sweet